Hello, everybody. It is August the 23rd, 2020, right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. The Summerfest is over. The Thunder Summer, the Summer Dome, whatever the heck they're wanting to call it this time. You won't see it coming. There are some things we didn't see coming, plenty we did see coming, but I see you. You see me. This is the Wrestleview live recap of the SummerSlams that you just finished watching right now. I am Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com, the host of Wrestleview Weekly, which you can see every Sunday here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel, except next week we'll talk about that some other time. And also, I am the co-host of this great recap show. Oh, God, we are running on fumes, I'll tell you what. But no one is running on fumes more than the co-host of this show, the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com. That is Mike Tedesco. Mike, God bless you.
Oh, Doug, and we're only halfway through, man. We got Payback next Sunday.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh. God. Seriously, we're both running on fumes. This week. Yeah.
A bunch of recaps. I did a bunch of audio earlier this week. I did obviously we did post Raw with Victoria, Wrestleview News with Jerome. I had a great chat with CJ Bowman on the state of the state of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'm done talking. I leave that to Doug, and Doug, you've done a great job with all the stuff you've been doing.
Whew.
But the recaps still keep going,
Yeah.
So I got 3 recaps in a row. I got one more tomorrow with Raw, and then I can take a little break till Wednesday maybe, and then we'll on the Payback. Oh man, what are we doing having a pay-per-view a week after the Summerfests? I don't understand. This
reminds me of ECW December to Dismember, because when that pay-per-view hit, I believe it was 1 week. It was a week or 2 weeks after a B-level pay-per-view. I think it was their December or Survivor Series. It was 1 or 2 weeks after Survivor Series and was one of the lowest pay-per-view buy rates the WWE ever had. It was the lowest.
Yeah, they only announced one match. It was the Elimination Chamber going into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, last year's Hell in a Cell, I thought that was bad. It only had like 3 matches announced going into it, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't that great of a show either.
Yeah, and it's I guess they love it right now that they have their own network now, and they don't have to be dependent on pay-per-view buy rates and be criticized with that.
Actually, I wonder if you remember back in 2009, from like September to October, they had a pay-per-view every 2 weeks, and John Cena and Randy Orton main evented each of those pay-per-views.
Yes, I do.
That's what this kind of reminds me of, actually.
This really reminds me of that, too. Oh, yeah. Let me see.
That's when pay-per-views were like $30-$40 each, man.
40 a pop. They were 40 a pop. And then if it was a big one, it was 50 a pop. And if you're getting HD, tack $10 on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
That's why I did a lot of business with Hooters, because they were showing the pay-per-views at the time. I ate a lot of chicken wings and a lot of Cuban sandwiches at Hooters.
There was one period, it was when I was just beginning with Wrestleview, moved into a new apartment with a roommate, and when we signed up for our cable, we got free pay-per-views for the year. And so I was able to watch every single WWE pay-per-view, and unfortunately every TNA pay-per-view for free. So yeah, I was taking advantage of that. Let me see. Before we get into
they owe you a rebate for watching the TNAs. I'll tell you that.
God, they owe me a lot after I watched that. They should have paid me for that, Let me see. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, we got to get into the appetizer. Get the pleasantries out of the way. If you're in the chat room now, you say "wee." If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who is in the chat room? I know all of you who are with me doing the watch along for NXT TakeOver Tres Aquis. You are hurting right now, so I don't blame you if you're not able to say "we." But if you've got the fortitude, if you got the brass, the cojones, the spheres, you do it right now. I see Mashoon, I see Andrew, I see Randy. Who else is in there? Come on. Don't be Don't you hold back from me. I see Daniel Nafis is saying wee. Billy Hefner in the chat room doing wee because it's not in all caps. It's mediocre Lewis. Jamel, Rhea Whipley's boyfriend, became one of my best friends last night, rooting me on, taking 2 shots of tequila. You are a horrible person. Who else is in there? Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, enough of that. All right.
I got to get one in there. I got to get a wee.
There you go, Mikey. All right. Well, there's another Michael going wee. And
that's a wee.
That's a wee. Yeah, that's right. Let me see. Let's go over, give us a quick rundown of quick results for the pay-per-view.
All right. I should pull up the results. I've opened up Wrestleview and I never actually opened up the damn results page. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
It was a show, Doug. It was quite a doozy. I'm actually looking forward to talk about some of this stuff. I got to tell you, I really am. So, on the kickoff show, Apollo Crews defeats MVP to retain the United States Championship. Bailey in the first match of the main card of SummerSlam, even though I don't know what the knockoff here is anymore. Bailey defeats Asuka to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. So Asuka cannot do a clean sweep and become a double champion tonight.
Wah.
Street Profits defeat Angel Garza and Andrade to retain the Raw Tag Team Championship. Mandy Rose defeats Sonya Deville in a no disqualification loser leaves WWE match. And Sonya Deville's career in WWE is over for now, at least. Seth Rollins defeats Dominik Mysterio in a street fight. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Asuka defeats Sasha Banks via submission to win the Raw Women's Championship. So Asuka does leave with a title tonight. Drew McIntyre defeats Randy Orton with a backslide pin. You'll never see that coming to retain the WWE Championship. The Fiend Bray Wyatt defeats Braun Strowman in a Falls Count Anywhere match to win the WWE Universal Championship. And after the match, the big dog, Roman Reigns, makes his return.
Burden.
Michael Cole had an aneurysm, and it was good stuff.
Yep. Burden. Yep. So, and also Roman Reigns off the milk carton. We haven't seen him since March the 20th. Earlier this year.
That's the only reason he came back. That's the only reason he's back.
That's the only reason anything has been happening in the WWE for the past 3 weeks.
Right.
Anything.
Why do we have pay-per-views back to back? Because I have to recap those goddamn things. Yeah, of course. Yeah, pretty much.
And for everyone out there who doesn't give a damn about my health, my predictions. So SummerSlam, 8 matches on the card. 6 of those matches were locks. We went a record of 5-3. That's not bad. It's over 500. That's not bad until you realize that all 3 of our losses were locked picks. I got the women's title matches reversed. I had Asuka defeating Karen for the SmackDown title, and Sasha Banks defeating Asuka for the Raw Women's title, both locked. Nope. That didn't happen. And, I really thought Dom Mysterio would defeat Seth Rollins in that street fight, but hey, that was a match, and I know we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was going to beat him too, and actually they built that so well that I thought there was going to be there was a couple times where I was like, oh my god, they're actually doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There were so many times. I love how that match was open-ended, and we'll go ahead and get into that. So let's go ahead and kind of dive deep into the show here. As always, with our pay-per-view recaps, every single professional wrestling news podcast or stream or whatever, the first thing they always do is they'll find something to bitch about the pay-per-view. They'll find something negative and they'll just dive right into it and not let up. But not this show. For here, the first thing we always do is we look for a positive. What is the one thing out of this pay-per-view that we enjoyed the most? And so, the effervescent one, the one who's been covering so much crap this week.
Since the pandemic, yeah.
Since the pandemic. Michael, what did you enjoy the most out of this show?
Oh man. There was a couple things that were really, really good on this show. But man, we can't not talk about Dominik Mysterio. You know, like that was incredible. Like, okay, last night recapping NXT, I was like, Pat McAfee, the Pat McAfee match. I was really, really blown away by his athleticism. Obviously, the guy is like an elite athlete. You know, no question about it. I think Pat McAfee was like full ride in multiple sports to multiple colleges.
Yes.
I mean, just an incredible athlete. I thought he did an unbelievable job. And, you know, at the end of it was like, you know, he really held his own. But at the same time, it was like this was a very carefully organized match, you know, really just safe. You know, that like there was no way other than that backflip off the top rope, which could have gone wrong if he, you know, just overshot and landed on his ass or something like that. But everything was done where he wasn't going to embarrass himself.
Right. And
it felt like a really nicely planned staged production, and it was good. And I'm not saying that's not a negative at all.
It was a simple match. You could not go wrong with doing anything in the match. Yeah.
I think you could plug in a lot of people and they could get through that match. It was like, you know, it was just like the beginner's guide to like having a really great match. You know, just do a couple flashy things, smoke and mirrors, and we get through it. Dominik Mysterio in his first, I mean, I'm not going to say the kid's never had a match before. Obviously, he's done stuff, you know, in practice, and he has videos on his Twitter of him, you know, practicing, you know, wrestling matches with people and actually having matches, but there's nobody there. On a huge stage like this at SummerSlam, the biological son of Eddie Guerrero, you know, he's got a lot to live up to here, and he wrestled this match like this was just, you know, he's in the middle of year 8 of his career. You know, like there was no rookie errors. You know, like I was watching things he was doing, and yeah, granted, like he was crisp on everything. The arm drags, the twisting, the twisting arm drag that he did, the 619, just the little things he was doing, like the big moves he was doing were great, but like the little things, like when Seth Rollins jumped up there to hit the superplex and Dominik just put his feet on the ring post and just knew how to launch himself off. Like these little, like the ring IQ of this kid is like incredible.
Yeah.
Way better than, you know, I mean, it's only one match, so it's kind of unfair to say this, but you know, he looked like he belonged.
Yes.
And he by far presented himself like a superstar. And just from watching that one match, I can honestly say if they don't completely botch, you know, what they're doing with this kid, they have a legitimate bona fide superstar on their hands in Dominik Mysterio. Especially, I mean, I've been reading interviews with him all week. I am so invested in everything Dominik Mysterio. Him and Ray were talking about how he's going to go by the name Prince Mysterio at some point. They already have a mask made for him. You know, the father's going to pass on the mask to his son. I mean, you know, so you're not going to just be seeing this baby face forever. Like, you know, like this, you know, he like an adult body and a baby face.
Right.
Once he puts that mask on, they're going to have that Latin superstar they've been looking for since his father, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero. They're going to have it again. This kid he's phenomenal. I can't, and I walk me back from the ledge, Doug, if I'm going overboard on this, but I was just so damn impressed. And the story told in his match too. Like I really, you know, if you tune into Post Raw, which I hope you do, you know, I'm not a big fan of this Seth Rollins storyline. This was the best thing to come out of that Seth Rollins storyline. They both told one hell of a story tonight. And I'm just honestly just blown away by the entire presentation there.
I'm not gonna tug you back or push you off or anything there we go.
I'm here.
There we go. We're back on. Sorry about that slight little hiccup there.
Live show technology,
kids. Come on. COVID, spiky Nerf ball. It's all of their fault. It's also the Postal Service's fault too. So again, I'm going to backtrack again in case anyone didn't hear there. I have no question about Dom Mysterio's ring acumen. None at all. His chasing around Rollins and Murphy for the past couple of months, swinging that kendo stick, hurling his body everywhere without a care in the world, no hesitation at all during that. During this entire match, no stutter steps at all. There were no Scooby-Doo feet on this kid. He knew exactly what to do, when to do it. Okay? IQ is there. However, there is one thing that needs to be worked on, as well as about 89% of the entire roster. It's talking. That's the only thing that needs some help. And the kid is only, what is he, 22, 23 years old?
22.
22 years
That's
old. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, it's tough to, it's way more difficult to go into public speaking than it is to just hurl your body physically and do stuff. That's on instinct. Right out of the gate, you just do what your body says you need to do. But your brain is working a hell of a lot more, and you have a lot more anxiety when you're trying to public speak. Okay? And it makes it even harder when you are trying to do public speaking, and this kid who's talking knows that millions of people are listening, but he can't see them. This is an issue that a lot of performers are going to try to falling into, to where here we are inside the Thunderdome, but there are a bunch of television screens behind me. There are no actual people here that I can gauge off of and feed off of. And so they have to use their own cues and use their own feeling of a script to say that this is right what I'm doing. And so this is going to be difficult for him. The ring stuff, not a problem. Okay, no question about that.
Well, I think Dominik needs to do kind of like what, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of Rusev lately where he talks about, you know, what really changed his game was going to acting classes. And I mean, look at Edge. You know, we've had this conversation before about the promos. Of course, you know, the easiest solution would be just to do away with scripted promos and let somebody talk, just figure out how their character should sound, you know, with the help of creative, but, you know, like not everything written out line by line by line.
Right.
You know, if you're saying something and you just don't feel it, and everything about professional wrestling is about the feel. Like, you know, I caught a little bit of that WWE 24/7 about the WrestleMania 36 COVID mania, and John Cena talked about, you know, having to listen, and now that is gone. You know, like you know, you don't know where the crowd is going to be. You know, like everything that they do is based on listening and getting a reaction, and that is just taken completely away if you're scripting everything. I don't want to get in that conversation, but you know, it's like
right.
That's, you know, I don't know if it'll ever be like perfect, you know, for anybody. No. Even Dominik Mysterio. But that's why what they've been doing with bringing in managers is a good thing. You know, having Ray as his father to talk for him for a little bit, or, you know, for a while until he gets used to cutting his own promos. That might be a solution to that.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we are seeing a lot of infusion of managers, of talking heads being used to help further along processes or processes. That's why I bring up Robert Stone. God, I love Robert Stone. God bless him. Okay. But these are incredibly different times for the WWE. Yes, because of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
It's because of spiky Nerf ball. Brace yourself. Tiny human. Princess.
Say hi to everybody.
Princess Lily has come to grace us with her presence.
She's going to bed. Good night.
That's why we were late, people. Get over yourself.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. No, you're okay. And you know, Mediocre Lewis brings up in the chat room, and I'll bring him up too. A great invert of this is Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston is the photo negative of what Dom Mysterio is to me. Okay, Eddie Kingston is fabulous on a microphone. Oh my God, we don't need to convince anybody right now that Eddie Kingston is great behind a microphone. But in the ring, not so much. That's why he's in garbage matches. That he doesn't do regular matches, and it shows. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So it's really hard to find that combination of the two. Okay, unless you're John Cena. So
Mick Foley was maybe the master of that, where he could have he could have a good match or a garbage match, or a garbage match that's a really good match. It's like but that's the zebra in a land of horses. It's like we have it's not many zebras out there.
No, there aren't. So pleasantly surprised. We were expecting good things out of Dom, but not this great. I'll go ahead and put it that way.
I mean, he just looked like he never looked like he was like, where am I right now? Like sometimes, you watch like NXT and you could see like people that are kind of green and having their first few matches, like they get knocked back. They're feeling for the ropes just to make sure, okay, this is where I am. Okay, I'm going to go for this. It's like he knew where he was at all times. There was, like you said, there was no Scooby-Doo feed. It was, he just looked like he belonged. He did not look out of his depth or out of his element, not one single time.
No.
And the story told by everybody, Seth Rollins was great tonight.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio was the body language of what he was doing, the looking conflicted at ringside, Seth Rollins, come on, save your son. And he's like, oh, and it's like all he did was give his word. But like, all of a sudden it's like, how many times in wrestling does somebody say, make a promise, like, Terry Funk retires or whatever, and then it's immediately broken, like it's nice to see somebody say something on the air and they follow through with it. And it really played into the match really, really well. Even his wife coming out, everything just played perfectly. They used every single tool at their disposal. And honestly, the only thing that would have made this better was, like for me, like the Thunderdome tonight was way better than what they did on SmackDown. I thought it was much more team.
Yeah.
In the camera cuts, like I was legit getting a headache where it was like every 2 seconds they were changing camera angles, lasers and all this shit. I mean, there was a lot of lasers tonight. That didn't change. But the camera cuts and trying to be too cute for their own good, they kind of got rid of that tonight. The only thing that was really bugging me, like during this match, it's like, they have that pumped in crowd noise going.
Sure. And
like a couple, like if you watch baseball, there's a couple stadiums that do that really well, where like somebody hits a ball and it's a long fly, and they get they actually have the crowd noise like react to that, and it sounds so realistic. And then you look at the seats and there's no one there.
Right.
They need to get that guy on the phone, because it was just like that din of just like crowd noise, but like there was cool things happening, and like
there's nothing
at a time where it should be like it was just still the same din, like, so it just kind of messes with you mentally, where you're watching this match, you see people on the screens in the background, and you hear the crowd noise, but the crowd noise isn't matching with what you're seeing on the screen, which, so they got to still work on that. And that's probably the only piece of this match that was really just missing, was just like, at certain points when Dominik did something cool or Rollins hit him with something, like those kind of things. They need to incorporate that and figure that out with their sound guys.
I'll dip into my thoughts of Thunderdome round 2 in a little bit. I'm
supposed to be on Thunderdome tomorrow. Apparently, I got my email and everything.
Wow. As if you're not on the WWE enough, Mike, because we had you reacting from WrestleMania again on this stupid little pay-per-view. You showed up again. Yes,
I did.
You with the two fists out like this. Yep, you showed up on another promo material. So yeah, screw you, Mike. All right, my number one, my favorite thing.
Let's go, baby.
This was Drew McIntyre's best match by far. Okay, number one. Okay, all of any kind of chatter right now needs to stop of people saying that the WWE does not have main event talent other than their horror movie guy. Okay, they have main event talent. It's Drew McIntyre. He is fantastic on the microphone. There has not been one talent I can think of that has ever done as much with so little to work with than this guy. All right. He's been delivering promos as the #1 champion of this company in an empty arena ever since he won that title at WrestleMania over 4 years ago. And every time, first off, he gets on the stick and is delivering a promo, I believe everything he's saying. All right, he has got the facial expression. He's got a look of determination in his eyes. I believe him. He could sell me term life insurance. I will buy 5 policies. Okay, that's how good he is. In the ring, just as good, if not better. He's incorporating the talk into the ring. The facial expressions he has doing the promos are the same as he is in the ring. This match was phenomenal. The beginning of it gripped me. Just because Randy Orton being chicken shit at the beginning of the match. Okay, yeah, we've seen the song and dance. We know what's happening here.
It's mind games.
Mind games, we get it. We've all seen it. One part during this segment that they're doing, Drew McIntyre's off the ropes, Orton face down. He runs off the ropes, comes back. This time Orton's back up. He's got his stomach up and just trips up McIntyre just a little bit. And McIntyre stumbles slightly. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, God, what's going on here? Randy for the RKO. McIntyre pushes away. He rolls out of the ring. And he's got a look on his face of like, God dang, what the heck's going on here? Hold on, what's happening? And you see the thought process that is in his mind play out on his face. He's stumbling his mind. He's going, what's going on? Holy crap, what the heck just happened? Wait, hold on. Wait, what am I worried about? I'm Drew McIntyre. Right. And that's Randy Orton. This is what Randy Orton does. Smirk. I see you, Randy. All right, we're going to play like this. All right, I better stay focused. Throughout the entire match, that's what this was about. Was about McIntyre trying to stay focused and stay game to what they say is the greatest wrestler. It's Randy Orton, okay? Playing the mind games and everything else. This was Drew McIntyre's best match, period. Best match of the show, I'm not going to get into that right now, though it's darn near close in my opinion. But it leaves the doors just wide open with this guy. What are we going to do now? Okay, this is your main character of Monday Night Raw. Okay, what are we going to do? I don't know, and I don't care. Drew McIntyre can be on the stick and just do that for the next month until we figure out what we want to do with him in the ring. But by God, this was all him. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I loved everything about this, and like I've wanted to get involved in conversations with people that are pissed that it ended with a backslide pin, and it's just like, you people just really don't get the point of this entire thing. Like, number one, like the one way to keep this storyline going, without changing the title is, you could have a bullshit disqualification finish, right?
Right.
Or you can just have McIntyre get him, out of nowhere. Like they said, you'll never see it coming. Who saw a backslide pin coming?
Yeah.
Like people just, they want to be angry. It's like, I don't know how you could watch this match and be angry at anything. Everything was executed to perfection in my opinion. McIntyre has had a great match with Seth Rollins, and I was like, okay, well, his first match as champion, defending the title other than Big Show was really good, and maybe that's, maybe this is the best it gets, and then he has some really good matches for the rest of the run.
Yeah,
this was way better than that. This was, for all those people that are, what's going to be WWE's matches of the year. It's like Boneyard match, and this.
Yes.
Like this, it was that good.
Yes.
It was that good.
Yeah.
The backslide pin obviously lets it continue. It's not like he beat him decisively. Randy Orton wasn't out at the end. Randy Orton was stunned at the end. You know, he was just like, wow, I can't believe I just lost like that.
A clean pin, but not a resolution.
Right. There's no resolution. It's a battle won, but not the war yet.
Right.
So, like, is Payback next week too soon to do the rematch? Absolutely. Like, I think we got to drag this out a little while longer. But I can't wait. I can't wait for the next installment. I really can't.
Yeah. And let me see. I guess the other thing kind of to lampoon off of you is, okay, so everyone's angry about the finish, about it being a backslide pin. Okay, so you're going to have some people, but not all. Okay, so we're going to have the decisive, resolving finish, okay, whether it be RKO or Claymore, either way. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. What are we doing after that? What's your end game after this? I love when people complain about a finish and you can tell that they're just playing checkers. There's a reason they did this. Okay, it is to carry on something or to start something new, and it's up to us, the professional wrestling fans who love to fantasy book and just love to have fun, figure it out. And you tune in to watch and you find out. You know, if this ended with a Claymore to the face to Randy Orton, what are we doing? We've got nothing in the books. Nothing lined up. So you're just going to randomly introduce someone to be D-Mac's next opponent? What's Randy Orton going to be doing now that he's punted all of these people in the head and never came through? It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
What was the point of Edge, Christian, Big Show, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels? What was the point of all that just for him to lose a single match at SummerSlam? No, it's got to go on longer. Exactly.
So, yeah, people complaining, just stop. Just get Doritos are on sale 2 for $3. So I'm 2 out. You get 2, you get 3 free. So go do that. Let me. Like that. Yeah, it is a pretty good sale that we normally have over here at my grocery store. My opinion of Thunderdome Round 2. Okay.
Ah, yes.
A lot better than round 1 because now they're paying attention to what people are doing on the television screens. Now they're paying attention to where we can revolve these people around. You know, we don't have to have the same lifeless people in the first 2 or 3 rows of television that are not reacting to a darn thing. Did you notice throughout the entire Thunderdome, this entire show, they were revolving screens around to those that were on the front were the ones reacting, clapping, moving their hands around, showing a facial expression of some kind. Throughout Friday Night SmackDown, oh God, they didn't change the screens around. There were some pale, white faces that were emotionless throughout that entire show. And it really added to, I'll say it, the blandness of SmackDown. It was really bland for a first Thunderdome show, where in comparison to this one, where, like you said, they weren't doing the jump cuts every 2 or 3 seconds to see, hey, look at this brand new toy we have. Now you're familiar with the toy that we have. So here you go.
Yes, SmackDown really felt like let's test every aspect of this thing out before Sunday. I mean, it's an ambitious thing that they're doing.
Incredibly ambitious.
Bringing in 1,000 LED screens with 1,000 different feeds and 1,000 different people's internets and webcams and 1,000 different actual people. Like that in and of itself could get a little tricky.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's ambitious 2 days before your, quote unquote second biggest show of the year to debut that and then just run it. So I get why SmackDown kind of was just like sensory overload, probably because they were just like, we're only going to get really one chance to really get this, or we really do have only one chance to get this on television. Go to social media, look at the feedback, and try to go from there. And we have 2 days to do it.
And the one thing also is and Brian brought it up in the chat room too, is during Sasha Banks's match, she lost, and they made sure to have this girl in blue hair on the front rows sad that she lost. Okay, We got different faces of all kinds rotating around to give those reactions. Yes, someone did put a stuffed Pikachu up to the screen, and that is cute. They quickly switched that away and put that way up in the back somewhere. But
there was a guy in a cane mask that I was really getting a kick out of.
Yeah, I mean, people will do some things on the camera as long as it's tasteful and they are well monitored. Okay, you're not going to see anything questionable on those cams on your TV. Seriously, they have made some hires to make sure that does not happen. Okay, but it's nice that they're starting to get a hang on the Thunderdome. Okay, and they aren't relying on showing off the toy. It's now supposed to be the background of the program they're doing, not the program itself. Is the thing. So there. All right, so we said the good things. All right, now we have carte blanche to go ahead and talk about what we're not really that happy about. I know one that I've got, but I bet you it might be the same as yours, Mike. But all right, lay on it.
I'm gonna go a little out on a limb then, because I think I know where we're going here. But I'm gonna say the one thing that really bugged me tonight, was the lack of quality control in the Raw Women's Championship match. Now, I just saw somebody who just completely missed the point on Twitter going back at me like, oh my God, they did frog splashes and clothesline. Oh my God, how crazy. It's like, that's not the fucking point.
No.
You know, my point of what I said tonight on Twitter, and I'll repeat it here, obviously, was during the Sasha Banks Asuka match, they repeated big spots that had already been done in previous matches. A couple of them had been done in the match directly preceding it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like when when Montez Ford did he was going for a plancha, Garza and Andrade catch him and they powerbomb on the floor. And it's like, that's an impressive thing. I hate power bombs on the floor because of the very real ramifications of it. Your head's literally just slamming on I don't care how thick that padding is. It's not thick enough. To not cause potential serious damage.
Right.
So I was like, okay, they did that with Montez Ford and that kind of played into the match for a little bit. Fine. Did we need to see it twice tonight? Like, were they watching this match, or do any of the agents go back and forth and say like, okay, well, no, you can't do the powerbomb spot to Montez Ford because Asuka and Sasha Banks are going to be doing it in their match. Is there anybody going back and forth saying shit like that? Sasha Banks hit a 619 from the apron. They called it that because she likes Rey Mysterio, and it's like, okay, great. But his fucking son just did it in the match prior. He didn't just do a 619. He also did one from the apron, the exact same spot that she did.
Yeah.
Dominik went for 2 frog splashes. Of course, Sasha Banks has to go for a frog splash as well. Like, when you see the same thing in multiple matches, multiple times in the night, everything just kind of blends in and nothing's special anymore. You know, like, yeah. I think we got to get back to a place where signature moves are protected and they're individualized. You know, like I think way too many people do suicide dives. I think there's way too many people having the same exact signature spots or splashes or whatever. Or like the power bomb off the apron, like, you know, those pay-per-view signature spots, like they get copied in multiple matches. If you're doing it it eventually doesn't matter. And these are really dangerous, risky moves. Asuka getting power bombed off the apron, that was a disgusting bump. I mean,
yeah, it was
really. I watched it and my initial instinct was just to go,
yeah,
because it looked that violent.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
They really had no business doing it in the first place. It didn't play into the match really at all. No. Because as soon as she powerbombed her on the floor, she's working on her arm.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing here? Like, where is the quality? Like, you know, you want to like talk about, like, we talk about the big things, right? That make these shows kind of bad. You know, like storytelling. There's always holes in the storytelling. The promos are bad, but it's like those little things too that, you know, like you're essentially just saying like, everything's the same and you don't need to pay attention to anything. And like everything will just blend in your head, nothing special. So if you just watch a show and you're like, oh, well, everybody did the same shit. It's like, I don't need to, like, why do you need to come back and continue watching the show? I don't understand.
But the weird thing is that's also an argument for the same reasons that you're saying that you can make an argument when it comes to NXT, but for the opposite reason. In NXT and also AEW, they're doing wacky shit everywhere, but there's no reason or continuity for it at all. There's a lot of individuality in the moves and the counters and the going from one submission to another submission to this to pinning combination and everything, and everyone suddenly just kips back up. Okay. They're all signature moves, but they don't mean jack if you're not selling anything or showing how much emphasis is placed on these moves. In the main product with Raw and SmackDown, Ed Hamilton brought it up in the chat room, kicks don't mean a damn thing anymore to me, okay? Yeah, kicks don't mean a thing. I don't care if you're kicking me in the face, in the stomach, to the side of the head. Do you know how many performers we have right now where their signature move is a kick? It is ridiculous.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Everything is the same, and it places no emphasis on why one is bigger than another. And you brought it up there. Frog splashes. How many frog splashes did we get on this show? Like 6? Something like that?
Because
from 3 different matches. From 3 or 4 different matches, we got frog splashes. 619s. You only know of one guy who does that. But we got 2 different people doing it in 2 different matches. There is something wrong with continuity and making your move sets special. And I don't want to say it's a form of laziness, but it's definitely something where they just try to draw from a well that is really bone dry and they don't realize it right now.
Right. And well, because it's the easy way out, like you don't have to use much creativity to get, the reaction. If you just keep doing all these things that are a guaranteed reaction, okay, we're going to do a dive. It's the lazy way of building a match.
Yeah.
And that's why the Randy Orton Drew McIntyre match stands out so much, because they were telling a story in the ring with their unique move sets, without having to do 15 dives that we already saw tonight. They told the story in the ring. It wasn't a lazy story. It was a hard-hitting match, and you could tell each aspect of it had a lot of thought put into it. Sasha Banks, and Asuka, they probably just thought, we need to figure out a way just to kind of, get the heat spot and, just build to the finish that had nothing to do with how we got to the heat spot. So powerbomb off the apron. It's SummerSlam. Okay, I'll take a bump off the apron. It's like, but like somebody else already decided to do that.
Yeah.
It's quality control. It's quality control. And obviously, it's a structural error here. It's like there's too many cooks in the kitchen and no one's talking to each other.
No.
There's no communication between Agent A, who's planning matches 2, 4, and 6, and Agent B, who's doing 1, 3, 5. It's like, come on,
right?
let's get a grip here.
Yeah. I think a lot of people might have seen this one coming. Because of the mentally ill, we lost a very good program. And lost a very good performer. One who was coming into her own, building her character, and on top of what I think was the best program the WWE has put together for the past half year. And that was Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville. This program had been cultivated for a very long time. The amount of pressure that was on both of these performers to make their own character in the environment and the time that they were given is astronomical. Sonya Deville trying to build up her character amidst a pandemic, amidst no crowd to confirm or verify what she is doing, and also placed with a lot of, not obstacles, but things around her to try to help her build the character, but never needed them. Dolph Ziggler was by her side, and he never said one word. And yet she was able to build and cultivate this character off of the sheer hatred of her former best friend, Mandy Rose. Same thing with Mandy Rose. Has to try to build this character amidst being the love interest of a happy dumpling in Otis, but has to build a character that is serious enough for you to understand is serious for this Sonya Deville person to hate so much. And she did it in the span of 2 weeks this month with some of the best promos that she's ever given alongside Deville. The building up for a hair versus hair match. This was the match that and I think a lot of people, this was the match we were all looking forward to. Until the mentally ill did not have loved ones to bring them down to reality, and those around them did not help them. The mentally ill cost us the career of someone who worked so hard to build up this character. And it disgusts me that, and usually when something like this happens, where someone leaves the WWE or something like that, it's always for creative differences. We always hear the rumors from in the back. There's some kind of backstage argument. No, Vince doesn't like how this person looks. This is the first time where outside forces prevented this from happening. And those outside forces could have been prevented by the general public. This did not have to happen. This could have been prevented. And so here we are. I mean, this spot with Mandy chucking the chairs over the table.
That was creative.
That was creative, okay? But also, I'm going to go ahead and also say, too, this match, because of everything that's happened with Sonya, and we knew what the result was going to be. She was going to lose. She needs time off. Totally understandable. Totally understandable. But the match just did not feel. There was just, you knew why they were doing this. You knew why it was happening. And you could even tell by how the two of them themselves were performing. They kept doing Mandy Rose knees to the face because, frankly, that's what they could think of to do. I'm sure they could have done a lot more, but I'll tell you, their hearts and minds were not into this match, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I watched this thing, and you could feel the emotion in it.
Yeah,
that real emotion where it's just like
the emotion that had nothing to do with the storyline.
Had nothing to do with the storyline. It's just like, we got to get through this. That's what I was feeling. When that promo that Sonya Deville cut on Friday, where she was, you could see she was shaking, and she put the microphone down. She took that big deep breath and goes, because she was trying just to keep herself together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I cannot believe that I have to fucking put my career on hold because of this fucking dickhead.
Yeah,
and and. They took, selfishly, they took away a lot from the viewer, and not they. I mean, this guy, we should have been watching this match, Doug. This match, like, it made, I was smirking all, not all week, but when they announced hair versus hair, I was like, that's gonna be cool. I can't wait to watch this match.
Oh,
and that makes SummerSlam a must-watch show for me, even though I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Right.
But it made it like, I have to see this. I have to see what they do. I like, a women's hair versus hair match can be awesome. And they it was robbed from us. Like we should have been happy watching this match. And just like, wow, they had a great match. That's all we should have been thinking about. Like, this is pretty sweet. Instead, we're like, my God, these two. This time, like, my only thought was, this time last Sunday, Mandy Rose could have been fucking murdered, and this guy could have been, having, Sonya hold up at this exact moment right now.
This whole show this show would have been a memorial show.
It would have been. It would have just. Oh my God, Doug! I can't.
It's
I don't
either
want to
that
think,
or would have been
even,
canceled. Okay.
I can't even think about it. But
yeah,
but like that's what I was thinking. I was like, my God, like a week ago they could have been killed.
Yeah.
That was my one thought watching this, and I'm like, and I'm of course I'm tipping my cap to them for getting through this, for doing it, and they still put together a really nice grudge match. You could tell, like, there were some sloppy spots because the emotion was just so high.
Yeah.
But then, like, you think about it, and a positive thing away from this fucking psycho is the fact that 5 years ago, both of them were just two hopefuls in some dumbass tough enough competition.
Yeah.
They've never had, throughout their entire friendship, Fire and Desire, they never had like a match of any repute on a pay-per-view. Maybe like being involved in that big multi-women match at WrestleMania was probably the first and only big thing that they did.
Those two, they've only had two pay-per-view matches. One was the WrestleMania clusterfuck for the women's tag team titles, and another one was in Elimination Chamber for the women's tag team titles. But
yes,
that's it.
And neither and not a single one of those were they the featured performer. And now they're here at SummerSlam. And when it was hair versus hair, up until that story broke on Sunday, to me this is one of the co-main events of the show. That's how well they built this up.
Yes.
And in the blink of an eye, it's all taken away. And now Sonya Deville, who is just hitting her stride and getting steam behind this character that she built from the ground up, in spite of every obstacle in the way. It sucks.
Yes.
It just fucking sucks. That's the only way that I could describe this.
And the reason some people ask him, what are you talking about, Doug? It could have been prevented. That's what the police. I'm talking about the guy doing the stalking and everything. Loved ones can observe what's happening. This guy who stalked and broke into DeVille's home, I equate to a school shooter. I equate to someone who does a mass shooting. You can see the symptoms. You can see what's going on. He's become a recluse. He's made himself isolated from everyone else. It was typical. It could have been prevented if people reached out to him or turned the authorities over to him before anything happened. The symptoms were there. It could have been prevented. But this is what we got. Can't blame anyone else. This is how it is.
In theory, that is true, but a lot of these people can hide behind their social media profiles.
Yeah.
It's like she seems to be the only one that he was obsessed with, and it's like, oh well, he's just a really big fan. You go on his social media, you think he's just a really big fan. There's all the crazy shit was in her personal inbox, in the request folder, because she didn't follow the account, so she never saw the messages. But all the crazy shit was relegated to that. I mean, like, I went to the guy's page, and the news pointed out one troubling comment where there was a psychiatrist from San Francisco that put out a thing that said, if anybody needs to, talk, I'm here for you or whatever. And so a lot of people messaged him, and this guy messaged and he said, I could really, and this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He goes, I really need to talk to someone, because I'm about to make a decision that could change the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's the one crazy shit thing that he put out there. I come across Twitter pages all the time that comment, at me and stuff like that, that are, their user handle is like Sasha Banks' #1 fan. It's like just all Sasha all the time, or all Roman all the time. It's just super fandom. That's all you would think about it. This guy, I don't know what the rest of his life was like, but he was in the shadows. It's social media. It's another symptom of our society of, everybody has to be special.
Yes.
And if you're not special, it's someone's fault, people don't understand that, like, we need CEOs in this world as much as we need people to cook the fries. You know, everybody has a place, and it's a failure of the education system for not preparing this person with life skills to realize that, you know, there's more to you than just, like, you know, your crazy wrestling fandom. You know, you can get a job and you can be happy in your life. Like, obviously this guy's missing something in his life too. You know, like there's a lot of tragedy here.
Yeah, there's a lot of it, and it's just.
But once you cross that barrier, all of your little issues, they're gone. You know, now you went too far. You're insane. Like when you're standing on someone's lanai and listening and watching them through the windows, you've officially, you know, lost that leverage. You've jumped, saying, like, well, you know, this failed me. I have these issues. No, now
you've jumped the chasm. You have made a decision, a conscious decision. So yeah. Let's get away from the dark and come back into the light. The question was the question was asked to me last night, Doug. Now that Karrion Kross, who coincidentally dislocated his shoulder yesterday during his match with Keith Lee,
separated AC joint. That's not good.
That's not good at all. But we didn't know that. But you know, Doug, now that Karrion Kross defeated Keith Lee for the NXT Championship, what's going to happen? I was like, I don't know. They could carry it on. You know, we can get another match out of this or whatnot. WWE says, nope, we're sending Keith Lee to Raw. So we got right there showing up tomorrow night in El Thunderdome, the Orgasmatron, Keith Lee.
I was stunned they made that decision.
Can we talk? We need to talk about this one. Okay. Man.
I was stunned.
I'm scared. I'm really scared about this one. This has happened before with plenty of performers that they've plucked from NXT immediately after they lose a major title. Do we need to run down the list? Take your pick. Every one of them practically has been this way. There's been without any let up. Okay, so all right. I'm gonna go ahead and break it to you like this. I am scared because of that reason. Every single time they bring up an NXT performer to Raw or SmackDown, not the main roster, Raw or SmackDown is what it is, they seem to do it immediately after a major championship is taken off of them. Immediately. It's done with Aleister Black. It's been done with Shinsuke Nakamura. It's been done with Finn Balor. It's been done with Samoa Joe. It go down the line. Without any time to let it marinate, they immediately do it. And I don't know, it's because people are afraid they'll forget about who they are. That might be the case because not as many people watch all of their programming as they may just only Raw and only SmackDown or only those two shows and not even know that NXT exists. But does that really matter? Because if they never watched NXT, then what's the point of immediately bringing them up from NXT? So I really question this decision. I'm scared.
I'm scared. Yeah. For what you were saying, obviously, you know, it's like, number one, it's just like, okay, they're bringing up another guy to the roster on a roster full of people that need direction already. You know, it's like, you know, like it just seems like they keep bringing people up and plugging them in, just like hoping like, okay, this is the guy that's going to get us going. And it's like, no, that's not the way you do it. No. That's just not. And there is a logjam on Raw of, you know, with the roster and spots to be on TV. Secondly, I watched that main event last night with Karrion Kross, and yeah, I mean, it's super impressive that he finished the match with a busted AC joint, but I saw so many holes in Keith Lee's game.
Yeah.
I was like, my initial thought was, okay, you know, run with Kross and have them do like a little bit of a series, but this guy obviously needs more seasoning, and they need to he's not a finished product by any means.
No.
And now they're going to bring him up to Raw, and he's going to have to be a very serviceable, impressive looking guy, but an unfinished piece coming up. And now he's going to have to figure that out on Raw with a much larger audience. I don't see that there's any upside to this whatsoever. I think that they're going to have him do a whole bunch of flips, and then before you know it, this guy's going to be going for the United States title, and that's the only level that he'll get to because they turned him into the fat flippy guy, and that has the random inappropriate stare down in the middle of a match just to stop the flow completely. Like there's a lot of holes in this character.
Yes.
His transitions, his selling. There was a whole bunch of things that I just really did not like at all. And it's like, you put him in a long match and you exposed every weakness that he has. Come up to Raw, figure it out. It's like, of course he goes up to Raw now.
In NXT, he's always had the long matches. Okay, always had these 15, 20, 25-minute long matches. Where now you're coming to Raw, you're not going to have that so often. You're really going to have 5 or 10-minute things. They are not going to give him an epoch 15 to 20-minute debut match. That's not going to happen. And What's more is on Raw, you brought it up earlier, we have so many experiments that we have been trying to perform for the past 5 months on Raw. How long is the Humberto Carrillo experiment going on? How long is the Richard O'Shea, Cedric Alexander? We're trying to do Mustafa Ali right now. So now you're going to bring Keith Lee in here. Apollo Crews is in the works, and he's got a title for crying out loud. Oh, by the way, Aleister Black is going to show back up on TV with Kevin Owens, who has done jack and crap inserting himself into a Rollins Mysterio program that was fine on its own. There are way too many experiments going on Raw, and now you're going to bring in another experiment? Who are we going to verify all of this on? Dolph Ziggler is in a basement somewhere beating up people. You've got that thing going on right now. You have an entire environment that's in an experiment right now. Oh, and don't even get me started on Antifa Retribution. There's another experiment that you're doing. You have got way too many experiments going on right now. The last thing you need to do is try to cultivate a new performer. This is not the time to do this.
No.
I'm not even going to say when the best time is, because right now, there's no time that sounds good right now to be doing it.
Absolutely not. No. I think he needed another year in NXT, working on his craft and, perfecting those transitions and the selling and the facial expressions,
promo delivery. He needs, don't get me wrong.
His promos stink.
Right now, yes, it was really neat with Karrion Kross that he got all serious on us and said that he was going to kick that ass, but he sure as hell wasn't like that before with Double D Dijakovic. He never was like that with the North American title. I'm not sold on that yet.
Right.
So
and the only reason that people love the Dijakovic matches, including myself, is because I've never seen a large man move like that before, especially two large men. But if he's not having matches where he's doing the Spanish fly off the top rope, or some kind of somersault senton or what, it's not a good match. Because there's no wow. There has to be something flashy and a wow factor for him to have a good match, and they haven't gotten him to the level yet where he can have a good match without doing that stuff.
Right.
And largely the match of Karrion Kross was really boring and bland last night was because Lee was doing all the selling and not doing the flashy stuff, and he's not good at selling.
No, he isn't. He really isn't. And also it's difficult for me to buy that a 350-pound individual is actually hurt. Because 350-pound individuals that are hurt, the only one that can right now convince me of that is Braun Strowman. Because every time that he got hurt, it was by his own doing. He would run it. He would take his shoulder into the ring post. He would launch himself into the steps. He'd launch himself into a barricade. The only way he got hurt is by his own doing. And that's usually how big men sell. And how they do enact damage is it's done upon themselves. And the person then they go against takes advantage of that. Every Keith Lee match has never been like that. Keith Lee should not be doing Spanish flies from the top rope. Keith Lee should not be slingshotting, flipping, cartwheeling, and all of that other stuff. Okay? You punch him in the face, he should not react to it, but he does. Okay? He's a big man who doesn't understand what a big man is, and I know people are going to get angry when I say he's supposed to do, but it doesn't fall in this environment. It does not gel in this environment. If he was in Progress or Evolve or New Japan or somewhere else, that's where he came from. That's where it would work. It doesn't work here. It just doesn't.
Right. In the land of giants, and it's like, we're not that far removed from Big Show. I mean, and you even watch, like, if you like the Broken Skull sessions, Steve Austin and Big Show had a great talk about how Big Show struggled for the first 15 years of his career because he was doing missile drop kicks and he was, trying to do too much. And, Undertaker constantly, pegging him, and Jim Ross, he gets sent down to OVW. They gave him a million wake up calls, and eventually something clicked and he's like, this is what I'm supposed to do as a big guy. And once he figured it out, his career was completely different. Big Show for the first 15 years is absolutely not like a wrestling legend. It was just like, that was one giant missed opportunity. It's like, that guy was huge and had a great look and he just never figured it out. And then the second half of his career, that turned him into the legend and gave him all that blood, a credibility with the company and the fans, because he finally got his role. Like, not everybody can be a cruiserweight. Not everybody can do the flashy moves. And I think that's what's lost on this network of people that they have now. It's like everybody just wants to do a million flashy things as like a look at me. And that's why we get matches with, multiple frog splashes and dives. It's because everybody just wants to do the flashy move rather than build a match and figure out an actual character. That's why there's no characters that people connect with.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We just figured out everything that's wrong with this company in one sitting because Keith Lee's coming up to Raw. Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we call that the Sasha Banksification of professional wrestling is what it is. Okay.
Well, let's talk about let's talk about the other big story that was on the show tonight with Roman Reigns coming back.
Oh yeah, that's what ended the show. Usually we talk about what ended the show right at the beginning of our show. But yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room that recently battled leukemia. Yeah. Welcome back after 5 months of saying that you were caring for your family and everything, and not just saying, come on, you're susceptible to COVID-19. It's okay. We would understand. But
go on, Doug. I'm sorry.
No. It's let me see. I'm glad to see that he's back. Don't get me wrong. Number one, glad that he's back. Too soon to go after Wyatt, though?
Possibly.
Maybe.
But you know what? I thought that this was a really important thing, and I think this is going to be really important for WWE for the fall, and especially for their next shareholders meeting in October.
Yes.
Because every question at this latest version of it last month was, what are we doing about the ratings? Like everybody kind of caught on to it. It's not just the ratings. They were asking about fan interaction and your connection with the fans. Like obviously there is a drop off here. All the metrics are showing us that popularity is at an all-time low, and they said, okay, well, it's because we're at the Performance Center and it's not well lit, and it's small and it looks small and it looks Bush League, and that's why people aren't watching.
Yeah, we got taped programs. They aren't live. People want live television.
Well, now we're live every week, and we moved to the Amway Center. And when our lease expires on October 30th, we're either going to re-up with the Amway Center or we're going to go somewhere else. But we're never going back to the Performance Center, and everything is live. Okay, so that excuse is out of the way.
That's right. That's gone.
The other reason for the lack of connection is because we lost so many of our big stars, including our biggest star, Roman Reigns. We lost Becky Lynch to pregnancy, and now we lost Roman Reigns because of the pandemic. Well, now Reigns is back. Obviously we can't do anything about the Becky Lynch situation,
right?
But Reigns is their biggest star. He's the one. When you watch all the Fox commercials, even though he hasn't been on in 5 months, he's still the featured guy in all of the insets and the graphics that show up in the corner of the baseball games. He's all over the place. So he's back. And if there isn't a significant, rising, obviously they're going to have a big bump. I really believe they're going to have a big bump on Friday.
Sure.
They had like a tiny little bump with the Thunderdome, but bringing Reigns back, this should lead to some numbers, I would imagine, for Friday. But it's the numbers that are going to, what are the numbers going to look like in 3 or 4 weeks? Yeah. And all of a sudden, in 3 or 4 weeks, we're inching very close to October when that next meeting is.
And you're looking at, and that's when you're
this time. They kind of took away every excuse that they have, and eventually I think it's gonna have to force them to look at their creative process, because I don't think I don't think bringing back Roman Reigns is going to change things all that much. But I did like that he came back and speared them and said that they didn't. He shouted at them that they didn't handle their responsibilities well and stuff like that. So,
wow, John Cena, welcome back.
Right.
Yeah, geez. Let me see. All excuses, correct. All excuses are now out the window on why the ratings are down. Okay. You have eliminated every excuse. And while granted, I will give you that, yes, the creative processes have been bad. Okay. Writing has been atrocious. Acting has been atrocious. Delivery has been atrocious.
Everything we talked about with the matches and the moves.
Everything we've been talking about has been atrocious. But you try to think of, okay, well, what are the reasons for them being so bad? And I keep looking back to everything that's been unfolding since COVID-19 showed up. I sit here going, would this show be the same with the programs we're seeing, the performances by everyone? Would this all be the same if we were in live audiences? If none of this happened, would this product still look like it does? Okay, you're in a live arena, there's people in the crowd, but would the programs and the performances that we're getting be the same? Does the live crowd not being there really play that important of a factor? And it's only more about the aesthetics and also the confidence, or that lack thereof, that the performers should be getting from that. And from the live audiences, the creative and writers and producers gauging that to figure out how to adjust from that. That gauge is eliminated. The only gauge that you have is a guy sitting in a chair going, that's good shit. That's it. That's all you got. You don't have a gauge to look at. The only other gauge you have is online. When you're looking at your views on YouTube, the feedback on Twitter, your subscribers to the WWE Network, that again, don't confirm or verify what you're doing on live television. So I try hard to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're trying their damnedest. And at the same time, there is no other television program like this one. No other television program is like this, that is on live television, that has a live audience of more than 9,000 people at a time for your theater. Okay? There is no other program like this one, ever. Not a sport, not a sitcom, not a drama. This is the only one of its kind. And so to give this product and this company guff because the numbers are going down is sincerely unfair, because no other television program has what they have and what they rely upon for their program to be good. Now, are there still things that they need to change to make the ratings better? Of course. My feeling is that right now, creative is long gone. We can't do anything about that. The performers can only work with the resources that they're given. And right now, they got none. They have no crowd to feed off of. They have to go on a script, and no one is teaching them how to read a script. And the only performances that they can do, that they can rely on themselves upon, is what they can do physically in the ring. And sometimes that can be a task to watch if production isn't good on it and has the right camera angles and the right weight environment around them is for the craft that they do in the ring. Creatively, I don't know if there's anything they can do. But on the production end, there's still more they can do. Can we cut down on the camera cuts? Can we cut down on that stuff a little bit? Now that you have the Orgasmatron, the Thunderdome, you don't have to do your constant jump cuts every 3 seconds. You can stay on your hard camera angle longer. Why don't you do that and soak in the 1 versus 100 background that you've got behind you to show off the brand new toy that you have, instead of zooming in on the 275-pound 19-year-old who isn't reacting to your show at all, okay? Do that instead. Instead of constant jump cuts to different camera angles that will be masked by ring posts, do the hard camera shot. You said you're going to have drone cameras.
Yeah, where were those?
Where's the drones? How about I've seen flying drones in there. Where are they? Use those. You've got 3 crane cameras in there. Use the crane cams to stay on an overhead shot for a considerable amount of time. There should only be 1 cameraman on the floor working this, not 3, because these jump cuts are getting insane. They are people with epilepsy are going to die. Need to stop. They need to stop. Okay. Yep. I think there's way more they need to do on the production end than they need to do on the creative end. It's too far gone for me.
I see your point. I see what you're saying, and I can totally I get it. My argument is my overall thing is just like, is this genre? I mean, like we enjoy this theater.
Yeah.
This form of odd theater with people, and spandex and baby oil and stuff like that. We enjoy it. We just do. But is this genre passe to the regular public now? And they're trying so hard to get those people back. They're not trying to write these shows for us. They keep trying. Everything is just done to try to bring in those that elusive casual fan.
Yeah.
Is it gone? And is it you said creative's long gone. I think I also think the casual fan is long gone. And
oh yeah.
Where do they go if this is all that's left is just this fan base and those kids, the 900-pound 19-year-old on the screen,
Well, I mean, I don't mean to insult the ones that are actually 850, but here's the one thing that we need to brace ourselves for.
I'm sorry. I just feel like they've done everything that there possibly is to do with it, athletically, they pull out the eye versus eye match because that's like the only thing that they haven't done yet is like rip somebody's eye out. But like we've seen flaming tables. We've seen like you can't do any more than what they're doing. It's just so essentially all they can do is just recycle all the old stuff. It's like they keep adding like, like the Thunderdome's a great look and like they have all these
Right.
great graphics and all that stuff, but you're just freshening up the same old product and there's really and it's not even like, you can change creative, you can change the whole process, but like AEW is meant to be like this like fresh thing. But it's like at the end of the day, it's just wrestling and it's all, recycled storylines.
I think I go back to what I thought was the best part of the show was the Drew McIntyre match. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton match.
Reminds you of how good wrestling can be.
Yes, because it was simple.
Mm-hmm.
Simple stuff. Nothing contrived. Nothing that you sat there and had to go, oh my God, they must have practiced 3 weeks to pull off that spot. Simple stuff. Simple acting. Simple emoting. And it was compelling. It told a story. Your Dom Mysterio Seth Rollins match. Sure, you had kendo sticks and chairs and stuff like that, but that has also been done in every match. But there was what was done? Emoting. Character acting. And a story. So, yes, and that's been done before, but I think I totally understand how it's going to be incredibly difficult to grab the casual fan because I think I can't remember. I just saw it in our chat room. The casual fan right now still thinks that John Cena and The Rock wrestle.
Yes.
Okay. The casual fan has not watched wrestling in probably 3 years. Right. That is the definition of a casual fan now. The
casual Saudi prince wanted Yokozuna at Crown Jewel. It's like, come on.
The casual wrestling fan, by definition, is they acknowledge that professional wrestling exists. That is a casual wrestling fan. Period. Okay? They acknowledge it exists. What exists within that thing? They have no clue. They only remember what they saw. And that's it. That's almost like if someone wanted to go back into watching football and asking, who does Terrell Owens play for now? Okay? Who does Brett Favre play for now? Casual football fan. Casual football fan is they acknowledge the existence of football. So right now, we are just trying to get eyeballs, is all we're trying to get. Not even trying to find the definition of the casual wrestling fan. We're just trying to get eyeballs. That's why I got Roman Reigns going to the NFL games. That's why I'm trying to cross-promote with all of the sports. That's why I've got my contract with ESPN to do stuff over there. That's what they're concentrating on to get attention so that people acknowledge that they exist. And they might, by chance, stumble upon the program and might get hooked in. That's the only thing. How do we hook them in? Because that one person who showed up on the show that I watched is on the show that I'm watching right now. That's the only way. That's why we got Roman Reigns showing up. Because he was recognized and he's being promoted everywhere. That's why we're getting him. I'm sorry, people. We aren't going to get Richard O'Shea main eventing Monday Night Raw. Because no one knows who the hell he is. And the reason you don't know who the hell he is because we aren't promoting him. He's not a very good performer. That's why.
He's got flashy moves, no character.
That's right. He's not good. So, the way we try to get our ratings back up is you got to promote, and Roman Reigns will help. It'll help that he's back on there, but I'm not saying that 2.5 million people are going to be watching it either. So, but I think the big thing that we really need to acknowledge, and not just here, but all around us for our lives, for a significant amount of time, this is what it's going to be like. For the next 1.5 to 2 years, this is going to be life. There's not going to be live people at events. This is what it's going to be like. Baseball, basketball, hockey, football, all of your live events, this is what it's going to be like. We are not going to go back to quote-unquote normal for a very long time. And the discussion I'm having right now is not to be, how did we get this way? How do we get out of it? Yada, yada, yada. No. I'm just stating factually, this is what it's going to be like. I'm not going to get into a debate on how it's going to end, but this is how it's going to be for a significant amount of time.
I just wish it would fucking end.
We all wish it would end. Seriously, I would love for it to end. I got a brand new job. I would love to be in Indiana to go out on a weekend trip to go to Savannah, Charleston, Asheville. I would love to do that, but we can't.
I just want to go to Longhorn Steakhouse, man. That's all I want.
So there's so much stuff we would love to have, but we can't. And we need to face that fact.
Yeah.
We are not going to have a live WrestleMania with a WrestleMania crowd. Yes, SoFi Stadium is looking good.
I just saw this thing of Nita Strauss. She was playing guitar there to like kind of open it up to nobody. There was nobody there, but she played We Will Rock You on her guitar. She fucking killed it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, SoFi Stadium, WrestleMania, that ain't happening.
No.
We got WrestleMania at the Thunderdome next year.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. It is crazy. But again, it's everyone just deal with it, guys. Sorry. If you want to speed up the process and you want this to end, you know what you need to do. I'm not going to get into that discussion here either. Okay? So.
Put it on.
Put it on and
wear
it and end the stupidity and fuck your feelings. Okay? Seriously. All right? Seriously. Okay, so again, there's a lot of things that are messed up right now with the WWE, but I give them benefit of the doubt on a lot of things. All right, and those that are questioning, why aren't your ratings up or anything? They know nothing about the kind of program they are and the kind of environment that they are in right now.
So WWE needs to tell that story though, because it's not just like, losers on Twitter that are asking a question. It's like people that have, significant stock invested in the company and companies that, make recommendations to their clients on what stock to buy. WWE needs to then say, they need to stop making promises. Oh, we have, we are 3 weeks away from turning this entire thing around. And if we just get this back and this back, we're going to turn this whole entire thing around. Be honest with your shareholders and just say, look, we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. We don't have a crowd here. It hurts. And this is the reality. These numbers are going to be the reality. And when we start getting people back into the arena, that's the only way that we can start to rebuild the damage caused by COVID. And there's really no quick fix for that. They need to just say that then. And
what's amazing, and you know what is amazing though, in comparison to the other program that's operating out of their owner's, living room of AEW, at least they acknowledge that COVID-19 exists.
Yes.
WWE has not said word one. They have not said the word COVID or the number 19 ever since this thing has started. They will not acknowledge
Stephanie
it.
Saying current circumstances.
That's what they say. They say current circumstances, the current situation. They need to mention it by name. They have to say it. You want people to identify with you and you want people to watch, you gotta acknowledge it. It's not your fault. What are you afraid of? And on top of it, like you said, if you're at the shareholders meeting, that's something that you have to say and, mention. That is what you're saying there. And also the reply that I gave about what they are as a television show and how they're one of a kind. That is how you sell your product. This is what a salesman does. You are a salesman, number one. Everyone on your show, every producer you have, Vince himself, everyone is a salesman. Sell your product. Sell your product, why it is the best product, and you put them in their place why they shouldn't think that way. You tell them you got on board with us because our product is unlike any other product. This is why our product is like any other product, because we use the live audience in a way that no one else does. They are the integral part of our product, and that's why you joined us, because all of those live people are watching us, and you want those live people looking at your product. So that's why you're with us. That's why we're making this product. And you're angry because the ratings are down. It's because we don't have the people that you wanted to be alongside with us with. So this is how it's selling. You sell your product. You don't give excuses.
And as John Cena said in the WWE 24 thing, he said the crowd is the biggest superstar.
Yes.
That drives the show. So it's like, yeah, we're missing that. Give us a break. Stick with us because our returns, when everything is going, are great. Just sell what you got. Don't sell, hopes and dreams. Especially in the stock market, they just want the facts. Yeah, and it's going to catch up to them. That'll be a very bad thing when it eventually does. And just to be clear to everybody in the chat room, we're not talking about the WWE 24 thing where they did mention COVID. No, we're talking on their regular broadcast. They never ever mention the coronavirus, COVID-19, nothing. They've never said it.
No, they've never said anything about it on television, on their regular television programming. So yeah, and it's kind of ironic and tragic at the same time that the route that the WWE wants to take about how they respond to the shareholders is the same way that the leader of our country does. It's a miracle.
Yes.
Through a miracle, this will turn around. No, that is not the route that you take. You got to try to do what our president should have been doing. Acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it. The great thing about the circumstances that Vince McMahon is and not the president is that's all you've got to do. You just have to acknowledge it. That's all you got to do. We're not asking you to do anything else. No. So.
That's it. I guess my last question is, are you surprised that they didn't have Retribution on the show tonight? Because I really, really was.
So we do a video package on Retribution and all the stuff they did, and apparently these guys, they breed like rabbits, because it started out with 5 members, and then suddenly 2 or 3 weeks later, they've grown 4-fold. And they've also grown in size. Did you see this? They started out as 5'9", 5'10". Suddenly they've gone through a growth spurt. I mean, these guys go through shoes like crazy. Retribution. What?
I mean, they're supposed to be like this group that wants to disrupt everything. You would think they'd want to disrupt the second biggest show of the year.
Yeah, it didn't keep them from disrupting Friday Night SmackDown.
I was hoping that they were going to come out after Reigns came back and he would just start spearing them, like the first person to actually get through to them.
I thought they would just come in and ambush during a completely random match. Just and pick one, they would come in. During the tag team title match, it would have been I thought that would have been great. You know? During the tag team title match, they just run in and wreak havoc, but the match still has to go on. They've done that before, right? Screw wrestling logic.
Exactly.
My other thing too is not as much Retribution didn't show up. They didn't mention Underground either. You're touting Monday Night Raw on your show. It's going to be first from the Thunderdome. We've got Keith Lee showing up. But whatever the heck Shane McMahon was doing, that's whatever that is. That's cute. That's really cute. Retribution right now, it just amazes me too. Apparently they infiltrate all of the shows except NXT.
Yeah, because otherwise NXT would have nobody in the crowd, I guess. I don't know.
I guess that or no one watches NXT. That's why. I don't know. You're trying to prove a point, so you go to the ones that have the most viewers, I guess. I don't.
That's a good point.
I don't know. Man, they are Antifa now that I think about it.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not political at all. No, it can't be political. Not at all.
No. When Nikolai Volkov and all those Russians in the 80s that had nothing to do with the Cold War, it was a good character. It's such good shit.
Oh, yeah. What was even better shit was having the Barack Obama lookalike wrestle the Hillary Clinton lookalike. I mean, not political at all. We just we just had 5 minutes to kill, that's all. All right. We're getting angry. You need to stop getting angry.
I'm not angry. I'm just laughing because
okay.
it's goofy.
It is all, well, yeah, it's professional wrestling. It's supposed to be flippin' goofy, Flippin' Goofy. That should be the new wrestler that should come in. Keith Lee, that should be his name. Flippin' Goofy.
Flippin' Goofy.
Flippin' Goofy. Oh, God. All right, we got to get out of here.
I like it.
We got to get out of here. Like, my coffee is wearing out.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. We're going to go and brainstorm on the fly right now. So, Payback is next Sunday. We only know of one thing that's happening, and that is Karen and Sasha are defending the women's tag team titles. That's it. Apparently, this is a pay-per-view that we need to cover, I guess. How?
We do.
We do? Yeah, we have to. I don't know how. I don't know what I'm doing on my show for this week. Am I doing a prediction show? And if so, on what? So, I don't know what's going on there, but I floated an idea to you, Michael. Apparently, last night, everyone had a hoot being alongside me and watching the NXT TakeOver 30 pay-per-view where I kind of got sloppy and happy, but everyone else loved being happy and sloppy with me, enjoying the show. And so I kind of thought, since you don't really want to sit here and talk about a pay-per-view that had 6 days to build with me for an hour and a half. No, you don't want to do that. Well, maybe for 10 or 15 minutes, you just want to say yay or nay or something like that, or give some feedback of any kind. That's fine with me. But would you like to go to bed earlier than 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning next week?
Me? Personally, yes.
Okay. I'd like to do the same. And so I propose that next Sunday for Payback, I do a watch along for Payback, is what I propose. And then afterwards, if as long as I've drank plenty of water and I'll be of sound mind, actually you'll come on and be my crutch. You'll be my DD to bring me home to talk about the Payback.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd probably be a good idea. We'll watch it together, and I'll just do a brief recap, just kind of like we did with Adam and that takeover show last year.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah, we did. Adam and I did the NXT takeover for WrestleMania. That time, yeah, that's where I introduced everyone to the fuck this match of Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. I think is what it was. Yeah, it was Johnny Gargano, yep. Adam Cole for the NXT title.
I was there live.
Oh, boy. Now, are you going to be able to do the recap for the pay-per-view while you're watching along with me, or what?
Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. We'll figure it out. It'll be a lot easier.
Wow, you multitasking son of a bitch. Wow.
I'm not saying it's going to be detailed like all mine are, but...
Well, no, not at all. We don't expect that.
6 days to build a pay-per-view. I'm not going to put my all into it.
Yeah. So, you and I tag teaming on a watch-along here? Sure, there's not going to be much of a hot tag.
Let's do it.
All right.
I might even break out a couple of fermented beverages. I don't know.
Oh, boy. Stale orange juice. Prepare yourself, people. No. So, yeah. Guys, tentatively planned. Sunday, Payback, watch-along. Details for it we'll go ahead and post up there. I think we'll do just kind of like what I did yesterday. Half hour before the show goes live, we go live, and then there you go. That's what we'll do. Doug, what are you going to do about your predictions? I'm kind of making this a hybrid Wrestleview Weekly show because I will give my prediction while the pay-per-view's going on. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
I'll give the prediction while the pay-per-view is going on. I will make the lock then and there. And if it does not come to fruition, you know what happens. And
right then and there, you take the shot.
Right then and there. Kids don't know what I'm talking about. If I get a prediction wrong on a pay-per-view, I take a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. We're taking 3 shots of this putrid stuff already, and I don't know when I'm going to be taking it. So 3 on an IOU. Lord knows how many on Payback. So there we go. Chris,
I might need to run the stream. I don't know if you'll be able to end it.
No, I think I'll be okay. Chris in the chat room reminding me that I can't pronounce tentatively correctly. Yeah, I am kind of buzzing because the caffeine is wearing off, but the Bailey's tastes great. All right. That's going to do it for this recap and review of SummerSlam. There's a lot of stuff we didn't see coming. Yeah. And we sure as hell have no idea what's coming up because of Payback. So I put it that way. Mikey, words to live by or go to sleep by?
Catch me tomorrow. Me and Victoria will be doing the post-Raw show, the Raw after SummerSlam. So check us out there. I got another recap tomorrow. Tuesday, I swear to God, if anybody speaks to me, I'm going to be very upset with you. I need a break from wrestling. I need a wrestle vacation. It's oh boy. Here's a word to go to sleep by. This is my final parting comment. Doug, I thank you for a great show, and wee.
There you go. Let me see. Words for me to part and live by and sleep by and stuff. If you enjoyed everything that we did this week, this weekend, right now, yesterday, or some other time that you ever caught one of our videos at any point in time, seriously, like it, subscribe. We're not going to wring your arm. We're not going to patronize you or condescend you. We're not going to sit here with an air horn going, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Burr, burr, burr. No, we think more of you than that. Okay? We really do. Okay.
Not much, but yeah.
We are elitists, so we do look down on you, but we depend on you nonetheless.
We want the subscriptions.
We do. But seriously, we thank you all so much for stopping by and watching us do the thing and us talking about the stupid things and get angry or happy about the stupid things. We all enjoy the stupid things, and you do too. That's why we're here. Yes, with Mike, tune in tomorrow. Raw recap. After that, get ready next week, kids. It's going to be a doozy of a show. Payback watch along. Mikey and myself. Mike will try to keep me down, I guess, and make sane choices in my predictions. No, I don't think that's going to happen.
That is not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. We're really grateful. Thank you all so much for watching. Smash the buttons. You know what to do. Don't be an asshole. Wear the mask. Think of others before yourself. And as always, know when you're being sold to.